I can't help but think how quiet it is in here without Chris around. Chris, I hope you're at home making a hoot and a holler for us.
We hope you're getting better, too.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Minor details. You know, dude, seriously, breathe easy. We got you covered.
And if you wanted the night off, all you had to do was ask.
You're listening to Wt&F on the Horn. Brian Lee, Elliot, and Dave Moore. What can I say? Welcome. Tonight, yes, please. We have the Oktoberfest night.
The question is whether or not you're wearing a suit as to whether or not you can drink.
No.
I got you covered.
You're the man. The man, the myth, the legend.
So it's kind of fun to do an Oktoberfest night tonight because we touched on it a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And when I mentioned the word California, I said Cali. That was the end of the conversation right there.
I hate when that happens.
I was just figuring that we have all these things that are basically completely released right now, and it made perfect sense. Just made perfect sense.
I think it was a great suggestion. This is my favorite time of year.
I agree.
I don't really like the fall as a time of year, but I love Oktoberfest and pumpkin beer.
And pumpkin beer.
I'm not a
Oh
pumpkin
my.
beer fan. I will say this. We went to Red Hook last weekend. They had a pumpkin porter.
Uh-huh.
The pumpkin you got on the front. The porter took care of the rest, and it got rid of that nasty pumpkin thing. It was actually really good.
Do you like pumpkin pie?
I don't like pumpkin anything.
Okay, well
I
then...
don't like pumpkin. I don't like squash. I don't like zucchini. Any gourd, I want no part of it.
Okay,
None.
sweet potatoes and pumpkins, forget it.
Okay.
I'm out. Anything else, I'm okay with. Yams, no. Same thing as sweet potatoes as
same
far as
thing.
I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
I absolutely
technicality.
love pumpkin pie, and when I discovered the wonderful world of pumpkin beer, I was ecstatic. There are pumpkin beers out there that smell like pumpkin and taste like beer, and there are pumpkin beers that taste like pumpkin pie, and it's a whole world. We could do 3 shows on pumpkin beer.
There are so many of
No.
them out there now. It's amazing.
It's insane.
It really is. It's amazing.
The fun thing that was happening for me in the last 3 days was we delivered our son to the University of New Hampshire on Friday, and we delivered our daughter to Eastern today. We had to go back up to UNH on Sunday because the poor lad was missing his phone, and he'd borrowed his mother's to cover. Yeah. And that alone was also an interesting situation because he couldn't not get into trouble just before he left. No, he couldn't. Yes, he could. I get a call from one of his buddies' fathers. Hey, Dave, can you head over to the house? Sure, Chuck, what's up? He said, Colin, his son, is talking with the police. Oh, okay, I'll be right there. Now, it turns out that Colin had quite a few friends over. Now, most of them are over the age of 18. Okay, get that. Some of them were actually going away to college. It turns out that it was my son's going away to college party. And I discovered this as I was talking to the police, and then the parade of friends start coming out of the house. A third of the way through is my son, who goes, "Hey, Dad, good to see you, dude." Yeah, just go home. Just go home. Nobody got seriously arrested, but oh my God! And we were supposed to be going to New Hampshire at 6 o'clock the next morning, and this was like at 11:30. No, we weren't going to New Hampshire at 6 o'clock.
You say seriously arrested like somebody got minorly arrested.
An infraction as opposed to a misdemeanor or a felony.
Okay.
Okay.
And it was because they went inside, did the police, without a warrant.
Oh.
And I'm sure nobody invited him.
No, they were all upstairs, pretending not to hear the knocking on the door.
How could you hear him with all the people in the house?
Yeah. Apparently some of them were hiding in cubby holes. It was probably very amusing to watch.
I'm sorry, officer. I couldn't hear you over all the loud music and the girls and the guys and the big crowd of people.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
big deal.
But they said that they were going in for a wellness check because they saw some broken glass out front. Now, I've been practicing for 23 years, and I can tell you that the only time that you're doing a wellness check is if you got somebody who's in their 80s and they haven't been seen for like 2 or 3 days.
Newspapers stacking up,
And
mail
even
stacking up.
then,
They
you
still
have
make
to
it a
be
few
very
weeks.
careful about going in. All right. I looked at the broken glass. I didn't see any blood. And I didn't see any signs of injury whatsoever. There wasn't skin flaps. There wasn't anything.
Skin flaps.
Now,
There wasn't
I wasn't a-
chest wound.
What a lousy party.
I wasn't telling them, hey, guess what I don't see, so that they could then make their report even stronger when it comes time for me to say, I think we're going to dismiss these charges. This was a warrantless search. Have a nice day. Yeah, it's going to be fun. But anyways, what I was trying to get to was my wife, in both instances, on return, was singing, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." Obviously, our reasons for saying that are slightly different than hers, but I love Oktoberfest.
I'm glad somebody else shares. And I don't care if it's still technically August. The fridge says Oktoberfest all over it. As far as I'm concerned, it's Oktoberfest.
Smells like Teen Spirit? No, it smells like Oktoberfest.
Yeah,
Ooh,
of
this
all
has
the-
a nice nose.
Of all the different stuff that the beer companies throw to us seasonally, this is by far my favorite. I love the Oktoberfest beers. Always have.
Now, how much of a snob are you when it comes to Oktoberfest? Because
I'll
I'm a
try them-
snob.
I'll try them all just to see how they differed from the year before.
Yeah.
But I will definitely drink it all. Are you more to the European side, more
Well-
to the American side? Because the tastes are completely different.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kind of partial to the integrity of the thing.
Okay.
I had a girl walk into the store a couple of weeks ago and said, "Do you have Oktoberfest yet?" I said, "Absolutely. How many kinds would you like?" And she goes, No, the Oktoberfest." And I said, "Yes, I have all 4 kinds." She goes, "Wait, what?" "No, like Sam Adams." I'm like, No.
Terribly sorry.
I'm sorry.
That was the wrong answer.
So I guess the best way you could put it, I'm a bit of a purist.
Okay.
And as much as I am a purist, I do have 6 beers here tonight, but there's only 4 that are true Oktoberfests.
Okay.
So by true Oktoberfest, you're talking European.
Well, there
at-
are only certain that are allowed to be called because of where they're brewed and meet all the Reinheitsgebot.
I love
Standards.
Tremendous word. Meets all the standards according to that.
at the
Say that again.
Yeah, can you say it one more time?
Reinheitsgebot.
At the
It's about 2:30. I don't know.
at the Oktoberfest festival, which this year will start September 16th and run to the first Sunday in October, as is tradition.
It's a beautiful thing.
There are only 6 breweries allowed to serve their beer.
Wow.
Allowed to serve
Right.
their beer because they have to prove A, that they're following standards,
Reinheitsgebot.
which means what?
825.
Basically, it's just the purity laws.
It's a German purity law. It means that they're not adding any artificial flavors or preservatives or anything like that. They actually mandate a alcohol level requirement. It has
Wow.
to be, if I remember correctly, it has to be over 5, but no more than 6.5, or maybe it's 5.5 to 6.5.
I think you're right. Yeah.
It's somewhere right around
I think
that.
It's 5.5 to 6.5.
It's somewhere right around that 5.5 to 6% alcohol.
Wow.
It has to be brewed in the town of Munich, where the Oktoberfest takes place. So that immediately limits the breweries that are served there. So of the 6 that are served there, there are 2 that aren't imported regularly. Augustiner Brau. Oh, and I just blanked on number 2.
It wasn't Lowenbrow.
Yes, Lowenbrau. Lowenbrau, we get their beer on a regular basis, but they were purchased at some point in time in the
By
past few
Miller, right?
years by, I thought it was by the Anheuser-Busch or InBev team, but
Yes, I believe it was the InBev team.
Okay.
but in any case, they're no longer sending their Oktoberfest here to the States. I know.
Bastards.
Well, InBev isn't exactly an American company.
Well, I have to say, the only reason why I was able to pull that particular rabbit out of a hat, as opposed to any other orifice, was because The first time that I actually knew about Germany making beer was my father in the mid-1970s had taken to drinking Lowenbrau when it was being imported from Munich.
Yeah.
And I was amazed.
It's a kind of inexpensive beer, but it is much better than people give it credit for. It's a fairly solid beer for a German lager.
They haven't done anything to the recipe in all the years.
There are some debates online these days as to
Really?
whether InBev has tweaked their brewery at
The
but
bastards again.
but I don't have any concrete evidence. But of the 4 that are imported, I mandate that everybody, if you like Oktoberfest, you should try all 4. So what are we going to do tonight?
We're going to try all
We're
4.
going to try all 4.
And then
So-
a couple extras.
Yep. So very first one, I don't have a camera here, so I can't see what we're looking at. Can you see that?
Yes, you actually can see that.
That's perfect. Spaten. A year-round beer. They have a few beers that people know well, but this is their Oktoberfest. If I can hold it still for a second, you'll see on the bottom of the label, it says Urmarzen. Marzen is the style of beer that they brew for Oktoberfest. It's basically a light-style lager. And, this is a little bit darker than you would think for a American alt beer. It's a fairly, basically just light amber color. Amber describes it the best way I can describe it. It's got a nice, easy drinking flavor profile.
Kind of on the flatter side.
Yeah.
But
Coincidentally enough, the style that this reminds me of most is Yingling.
Oh, wow.
Yingling Lager, us Pennsylvania Dutch. We brew good beer, and that's why I always love Oktoberfest, because it's real German beer brewed the way us Americans sometimes imitate.
Hi, hi, hi.
Well, I think it's good. This is the first time in
I love the nose on this thing.
first time in a year that I'll sit down and try all 4, so I love the opportunity to do this.
The nose on this thing is very pleasant. It's not overpowering with hops. It's got, I can imagine a slightly sweet taste because of the sweet nose.
Just a little bit malty, and
keep in mind when you're doing the Oktoberfest beers what you're going to be eating with it.
Ah, yes.
So it's going to be like a full dosage of sausage and brat and spätzle and stuff like that. These are the things.
Schnitzen.
These are the things that you're going to be eating with it. So they're lighter in flavor. There's not a whole lot of spice to it.
Right.
So you need something that kind of pairs with it.
Right.
So it's going
Also-
to be more to the malt side than the hop side.
And it's not going to, you don't want to overpower all this other good food that you're eating. You want something that's going to work with. Right.
Well, also consider the fact that when you order beer at the Oktoberfest, you're talking about, do you want a really big mug, or do you want a really, really, really big
Stein,
mug?
baby.
They don't do small there.
No,
if
no.
you ever look at the Steins, the smallest I've ever seen is a liter size.
We're doing
Uh-oh.
Stein hoisting
Oh,
at
my.
Sally's this Thursday evening, 8 to 9. Sam Adams is coming in and doing a Stein hoisting, and it's a liter.
Uh-huh.
And you know the drill, right?
No.
So you get the liter mug,
Yeah.
and basically they say Stein's up, and you have to raise the Stein out, full extension,
Okay.
until you can't raise it anymore.
Okay.
Wow.
Until you start shaking
And
the beer
wobbles down.
Once the beer starts flipping out of the cup, that's when
You bring it
lost.
down.
But you have to continue, no matter where you are in the contest. You basically have to continue on because everything is going to, like, whoever wins is going to Boston to compete nationally.
Oh, very cool.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're looking for a decent
Wow.
crowd for that. We've never done it before. They came in and asked if we had any interest in it. So I said, oh, absolutely, we love stuff like that.
So Black Eyed Sally's on Thursday night. What time?
8 to 9.
8 to 9.
Steinhoisting.
I have a fundraiser that night. I'm out.
I may try to go there.
I just want the Stein.
Heck yeah.
I really just want the Stein.
Okay. I like to see Dave put the bottoms up. This is nice. Dave joining in.
Question in the room before, in the chat
Very
room
interesting.
from Tasha was on pumpkin beers.
Uh-oh.
Is it okay to cinnamon and sugar the rim?
Do I do it, or is it okay
Is
to?
it okay to?
The way I figure it, pumpkin beer is kind of a novelty. You can do whatever the heck you want to it. Would I personally? No. However, some of them need that kind of extra flavoring to make them drinkable.
It sounds to me like she's trying to make a liquid pumpkin pie.
Yep.
Yeah, and literally that started because the first few pumpkin beers that really became popular, I won't throw any names under the bus, Shipyard.
Put a
They
hole
didn't
in
really
that one.
taste like much. But when you put that little bit of cinnamon and sugar and things on it, then it really brings the flavors out. There's a couple on the market that I swear by, and there's a new one this year. Long Trail has come out with an Imperial Pumpkin Ale.
Wow.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not a huge fan of Long Trail in general. Their beers are fine, but they're not exciting for me.
I like the blackberry wheat.
And I love the double IPA.
Okay. I've never been excited by any of them until this year. They came out with an Imperial Pumpkin.
Okay.
So I figured, you know what? I'll give it a try. I'm willing to give any pumpkin beer a try. It's phenomenal. It's, in my opinion, one of the best 5 pumpkin beers I've had.
Really?
So
Wow.
I immediately sent a text message to
Phenomenal.
my salesman and said, hey, how much Imperial Pumpkin from Long Trail do you guys have? He goes, oh, there's a lot of it. Why? Is it good?
Bring it in.
And I said, send me 4 more cases.
Back up the truck.
Yes. So it's quite good. There's only a few out there that I think are really serious, worth writing home about pumpkin beers, and Long Trail really hit it on the head this year.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Okay.
This one's what I would call a slightly saltier aspect as opposed to sweet.
How's that on the camera?
Looking good.
Okay, so number 2 is Hofbrau. Hofbrau München Oktoberfest. This one's a little lighter in color. The funny thing about all the Oktoberfest beers is that you often recognize the name, like Spaten and Hofbrau, and you recognize them, and Lowenbrau is kind of inexpensive, like little German beers, but they make really serious Oktoberfests as well.
Well, you could argue that since they're adhering to certain fairly strict standards.
Which standards?
Reinheitsgebot is what he wants.
Is Evan...
What's that about?
Is Evan monitoring tonight?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Evan, if there's any one thing you could ever do for me as a favor, can you sound bite that for me?
I think we can work on that for you.
Because that would be awesome. I want that to be my ringtone. So yeah, Hofbrau. Nice light yellow color. I only had 2 of my palm glasses, so I'm sorry, Dave, I didn't bring an extra glass for
I'm
you.
working with this. This is good.
But there's nice carbonation on this one, a little bit better, I think, than the Spaten.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little more floral, I think, on the
Yeah,
nose.
I'm saying what I'm getting at is it's a little less sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't. It's not that it's bitter. It's not.
Well, it hits on a different portion of the tongue.
Yes.
So taste-wise, it's going to hit you in a different spot. Where the spot, and I think it's because it's a darker beer, it's going to hit you on the sweeter side.
Yep.
More so, and then this is hitting you in a different spot on your tongue. They're both. I think they're both great.
This is the kind of
love
beer I could
Spaten.
hand
They're
to.
both spot on.
I love Spaten.
Well, this is somebody almost that, I mean, I could see a Budweiser drinker tasting this and going, I kind of like that.
This is actually what I remember Lowenbrau tasting like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s.
Yeah.
When it was real.
When I was sipping it from my dad's armrest.
Same here, man. Same here. We would be down at my parents always rented this particular beach cottage.
Mhm.
It was right on the Westbrook Clinton line.
Okay.
Okay. And it was one of the few beaches that didn't have rocks. And I remember being either in a beach chair or on the porch chair and standing quietly. And every now and then he'd put the glass down and take his hand away. That was the clear, I'll drink now sign. And as long as I wasn't a pig, as long as I was taking sips, it was all good. Every now and then, John, I don't think you should let Davey. Little did we know. I really like this.
This is
It's
nice.
a light beer.
Mhm. Well, remember, it's something that you're meant to drink in large quantities over the course of days.
This is the ultimate. These are the ultimate session.
I was just about to
because
say
the
that.
session is 2 weeks long, baby.
Hell yeah.
Grab a mug and jump in.
Grab a mug, grab some Broughton, get some pretzels. It's going to be a long one.
So everybody's heard of Oktoberfest, but you guys know the origin? I expect Dave to know the origin of Oktoberfest.
I do. I studied it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
It was started in 1810. In Munich, it was the crown prince's wife's, the celebration of their marriage, I believe. It was at the Theresa Seinweiss. I'm terrible on it, on the pronunciation of it, but it basically meant, Weiss means meadow, Theresa's meadow was the original. So, 1810. So, 202 years.
And I think
I know
it was.
they had a big anniversary. I would have sent them a card.
I know. I think it was the first one was like a week worth of celebration.
I believe so, yeah.
It began with a parade down into the fields, and now
some
it's
contests of strength, and I believe that's actually where the Steinhoisting came from. It was like the third or fourth year of it.
very cool.
So,
and they've
yeah.
taken some years off due to world wars and such, but
Minor details.
Plagues,
Crimean.
World Wars.
Yeah. but that's quite frankly, for lack of a better term, badass.
Yes.
If you've been around for 200 years and you took time off for plagues and world wars.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're doing it.
I
Yeah,
actually
that's
did
cool.
24 times.
It is now the
It was canceled.
world's largest festival of any kind, I believe.
Yep.
And they have, 30-some tents, large tents, small tents. They have entire agencies designed to book your your visit. You can go online and you can search for Visit Oktoberfest, and there's a dozen websites that are just travel agencies to get you there
They'll
and
bring
set
you
you up.
there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they'll set you up with a hotel. They'll carry you from one place to another via van,
Or cart, as the case
whatever it
may
might be. But I'm gonna sit here and drink Oktoberfest for the next couple of years till I know everything I can possibly know, and then we're
Then
go.
go.
Yeah, let's go for a big year. Like let's go for. They've already done it for 210 years. We might as well go for actually, if it's 210 years old and they took 24 years off, that means
They're
the 200th anniversary will be in 14 years.
Well, it wouldn't be the 200th anniversary. It would have been the 200th Oktoberfest.
Semantics.
Because you could go on the 215th. That will probably be something. The 220th will also likely be something fairly spectacular. 225th, very spectacular. The Germans are like that. What can I say?
Not arguing with you.
And they sure as hell know how to party. And by the way,
Good time to say, by the way. Just as you reach away.
Speaking-
No, don't pull on the microphone. You're going to break it.
Speaking of parties,
Uh-oh.
the Celts, by the way, are originally Germanic, Germanic origin.
ah,
They came from the northwestern part of Germany and arced over and down into the English Isles.
see, I thought you were going to parlay that straight into a Deepwater Seafood commercial.
No, but that could happen.
As you went with, they know how to party. And you know who else knows how to party? Those people over at Deepwater Seafood. Bang! It was there.
We could do that. I mean, my thought was actually, since we're trying 6, let's
do
knock
one
out.
more?
Let's knock out
Yeah,
half of them,
absolutely.
and then we'll pay some bills.
Okay. Well, the darkest of the 3 so far.
No question.
I'm going to let the pronunciation on this one to you because you're doing so well.
Hackashore.
Hakashore. This is the one that nobody ever wants to pronounce.
Haktashor.
Of course, with the very ceremonious, big steed and attractive woman on the label.
Lady Godiva.
And oddly enough, it says right on the bottom, brewed according to the German law of purity of 1516, best before June of 2013. So although this is an Oktoberfest beer, they reference it for another 6 months.
That's awesome.
A year and change, actually.
Oh.
You said 13, right?
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, year and change.
Nope, it's 2012 right now.
Yeah, and if it's till 13, it's at least a year.
But it's it's August now.
So like a year.
Oh, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's probably been sitting on a shelf.
Not for too long.
Not at their place.
Not
but
as
I mean,
they
just in
are
general.
following the
Yeah.
purity laws.
We have ways of making you talk.
Yoda doing German? I don't think so.
I didn't take notice to it yet on the others, but now I'm going to. This is 5.8%. So while this is significantly higher than your average Bud or Bud Light, it's still fairly light in the grand scheme of craft beer.
Yeah.
I mean, most craft beer is 6.5, 7 without flinching,
It's
and then some.
Easy.
It's a caramel color.
Yeah, it's pretty nice dark color compared to the last one.
Has a very nice nose. Fairly similar to the Hofbrau.
I don't.
Taste-wise, I think you'll find it closer to the Spaten. I actually think it's a little more sweet,
Yeah.
and I actually,
Holy crow.
I actually prefer it to Spaten with that style of food.
True. Particularly with the sausages.
Yes.
This would go really well with the sausages.
And if there's anything salty, I think this would be great with it.
Like pretzels and mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Oh,
That's
now I'm
delicious.
hungry.
There's not a bad beer in the bunch. No. I was out at a bar earlier today, and I ordered a Spaten Oktoberfest, and after 10 minutes, the waitress came to me and said, "I'm sorry, the keg kicked." Okay. You got another one?
Could you
We've got
tap it, please?
we've got Sam Oktoberfest.
No! For the love of God.
That was pretty much my statement. It was
Okay.
no,
Can
thank you. I'll have Old Burnside.
Have you tried this year's Sam Adams?
Not yet. That used to be one of my favorite sort of craftish brews. Over the past few years, I haven't really liked it as much, but I haven't had this year's yet.
I do not like it at all.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Did you in the past?
This show, Chris has told us we have to be honest.
Oh.
I'm going to be honest. I do not like it at all. I had liked it in the past. 3 years ago, I thought they made a phenomenal one. 4 years ago, they made a better one.
Yeah, it was about 5-6 years ago where I was hooked on Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
I cried a little bit when the keg finally ran out and we could get no more Oktoberfest at the bar. And over the past, 4 or 5 years, it's just been,
There's so much malt in this. It does nothing for me. And it's the one that where I am, we're going to sell the most of.
Yeah.
No matter what, we're going to sell the most of it. So we brought in Goose Island's Harvest, which is theirs.
Yep.
So I gave that a whirl before I left. The keg was almost ready to go. I think that's going to be great.
Well,
I think that's going to be great.
there's sort of a respect issue where there are very few German breweries that come out with an Oktoberfest.
Mm-hmm.
And even the Americans, they'll label it either Harvest or Fall Seasonal or Marzen or Prost or something to that effect without calling it quote-unquote Oktoberfest. I think that's just out of respect to say, no, we know. We're not real Oktoberfests.
Right.
And even the two that I'm going to pop open tonight that are imitations have some level of respect.
There are no imitations here. You're listening to On the Horn. We will be right back.
Carving out an online presence. On the Horn. onthehorn.com.
That's right. It's commercial time. Our friends from Deepwater Seafood of Avon, have you been to the only fish market in Farmington Valley? Deepwater is located on Route 44 and is open 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. One of the best things about Deepwater is their fish are fresh, 3 deliveries daily to meet your needs. Deepwater has a menu of grilled fish items, scampi, fish and chips, soups, bisques, and chowders. For your catering needs, authentic paella, cedar plank salmon sides, and always the traditional New England clam bake. Deepwater also has the very best, and I mean awesome, shrimp cocktail that you'll find anywhere. Call in your order at 860-676-9657, and they'll have your order ready for pickup when you arrive. Deepwater Seafood of Avon, not just for the halibut.
Budwitz & Meyerjack PC is a large Connecticut-based CPA firm with offices in Cheshire and Farmington, Connecticut. Large enough to handle engagements of enterprises with annual revenues in excess of $100 million, yet small enough to cater to smaller businesses and individual clients who expect personalized attention from partners and staff. Client service is the cornerstone of our practice. Our clients have a fixed fee for their audit and tax work. What this means to the client is we're approachable. Personal communication and client services make for strong relationships. Budwitz & Meyerjack, certified public accountants.
Sandits Travel for business and leisure. We'll take you there. Sandits Travel has been proudly serving Connecticut since 1960. That's over 50 years. And we're ready for another 50 years of superior service. Whether you prefer to come in, call in, or log on, we invite you to explore how efficient, diverse, and fun it is to book through Sandits Travel. Save your money and your time with us. Sandits Travel. We'll take you there.
And last but not least, we are brought to you by CentralCTDental.com. Doctors Camp, Sambor, and Lupini. For serious issues or routine checkups, go nowhere else. Easy to get to on the Plainville-Farmington line. Call 860-747-5761 or make an appointment online at CentralCTDental.com. And now, we are back to Oktoberfest, the tasting. And Elliot?
You mean you want something about the tasting part of it in there, Dave?
Jess?
So we split it right down the middle the best we could. The first three were all real Oktoberfests, authentic Oktoberfests. This is the last of the four that we can actually get. This is Paulaner.
And Lowenbrau is not being sent across in any way, shape, or form.
To the best of my knowledge, we can get Lowenbrau
regular,
proper,
right,
but not Lowenbrau Oktoberfest. And the other one is...
I will ask, or at least give a call to Eastside.
Eastside?
In Eastside Restaurant. In New Jersey.
Oh, because if anybody has it, they will.
Because they have Spaten Oktoberfest year-round.
Ooh.
So if anybody can get it, they can get it. So I'd be, and they just opened the beer gardens, whatever it was, 2 years ago, and I still haven't been over there, but it's certainly worth investigating.
Yeah, when I asked my salesman, his response was, "I don't know."
Yeah.
That's never a good thing.
I haven't. Yeah, but I ask my beer reps a lot of questions, and I get those types of responses. They fully admit that a lot of times I'm more out there in the digital world looking for these little things before they are. And I'll text my salesman and say, "Did you get this yet?" He says, "I didn't even know we were getting it." "Oh, wait, my boss says it's in the warehouse. Would you like some?"
Yes.
Yes, please.
I mean, I'm flattered is really the best way I can describe it. I'm flattered when I ask my beer guy a question that he can't answer. And I'm kind of flattered when I place my order and my one beer guy, actually Doug.
Yeah.
Doug regularly chuckles when I place my beer orders. And the first couple of times I said to him, "What's so funny?" He said, "Every other account that took this beer asked for the pale ale or the IPA." He said, "Those are the two that you don't want." I said, "Well, those are the two I don't like. They're not any good." He goes, "That's why I love you. You buy all this weird stuff."
All the good stuff. Come on, Doug.
When he came in to talk to me about Founders, he's like, "I figured I'd bring you the porter because I know you like that." I said, "Just for ha-has, what did Elliot get from that?" He's like... And it was like the cherry or whatever. I just laughed.
Well, Doug came to me with Founders. You're not a huge beer guy. Do you know about Founders? Founders is a ridiculously good brewery out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. They're just recently available in the state of Connecticut. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of good breweries out there. But we only get beers after they become famous. And... Doug came in and says, "Okay, Founders is now available. It's all in the warehouse. It's ready to ship. These are the two best sellers. These are their flagships. These are the other three, and this is their seasonal. What would you like?" I said, "Well, not their two flagships, but I'll take the other three and their seasonal." And he laughs. And I said, "What is so funny?" And this was one of the first times it happened. He goes, "They're flagships. Every store is buying those two." I said, "Well, if every store is buying those two, then I don't need them."
Right.
It's true.
Yeah. And
don't need to butt heads.
That's constantly what I try to do at Sonoma Wines and Spirits. I want to have something different. And if it's not good, we don't need it. And not that Founders flagships are not good. They're great. But
Right, but you can get them anywhere. You may as well have something that you
Right.
can't buy at the corner store.
which, by the way, have you had their breakfast stout? Next time it comes in, I'll save you some.
Okay.
It is like adult espresso beer.
Really?
You could drink this for breakfast instead of espresso. It is phenomenal.
Wow.
Oh, you know what? No, I have some at my house. I'll bring you one next week.
Okay.
As soon as it came in, I bought a 4-pack for myself.
But of course.
But anyway, Polliner. This one's got less attractive ladies on the front label. But have you ever seen the Hofbrau 6-pack? It's just got a picture of a blonde with the Oktoberfest thing with the... Yeah. How do you say it? With the boobs pushed up and everything?
Nice.
With a couple of liters in her hand. This one's got...
Later
Have you seen this? This has got a bunch of, like, nun-looking women.
That makes me want to drink this one.
I'm in.
No, the idea is
taste-wise, I
once
think
you
it's
drink
a lot like the Haka Shore.
once you drink enough of it, the lady looks attractive.
It doesn't really matter.
You're right there.
Just drink until she looks attractive. Similar, yeah, but I think it's a little bit... I don't want to say skunky, but it's a little bit... I don't know, tart, or I don't know. There's something else in there. It's not as smooth and as sweet as the Haka
There's
Spar.
a slight bitter aftertaste.
I can't put my finger on it. It's not hoppy by any stretch of the imagination. It's just
No.
got this... I don't know. It's got this puckering finish
It's
almost.
not. It's not as sweet. I will grant you that.
It's still delicious.
Oh yeah. Who's dinging?
My iPad. I've received like 7 new emails since we're sitting here.
Excellent.
That's the problem with being constantly connected. I have 7 email accounts, and I'm getting dozens of emails all the time.
And I thought I was good with 2. Actually 3.
No.
That's true. I'm not on Twitter yet, so really?
We'll get you there.
Dave.
Dave, you need to get on Twitter.
I'm a Luddite. What do you want?
You need
For
to get on Twitter.
for a political interested person, Twitter's the best place for you.
Oh my God, yeah.
I like being under the radar. I like knowing where everybody else is.
You don't have to
You don't
post
have to
anything.
post.
You just go on Twitter and follow other people. You'll get constantly the dumb stuff that they're saying and the smart stuff that their handlers are saying.
There are certain people you need to stay away from. You'll figure it out really
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
You know, when somebody's posting every 30 seconds, and I really don't care that you had a apricot sundae for dessert.
Right.
Stop with that. But
I used 24 squares this time.
yeah, sweet Jesus.
Really go with the cottonelle.
Yikes.
So, what do you guys think about the fact that Oktoberfest is already out? It's on tap. It's in the stores.
And has been out
Elliot,
at
for a few
least
weeks.
You
3
have to
weeks.
understand. Lowenbrow would put out the Oktoberfest in mid-August. My father was... Now, he hasn't had a drop of alcohol in, 15 years? Okay. But I remember full well with the Lowenbrow when the Oktoberfest came out. It was a happy, not a hoppy, a happy day. And so I'm used to Oktoberfest coming out in mid-August.
Now, see, the conversation I get every single year for the past several years is that, oh, they're coming out earlier and earlier and earlier.
No.
I don't think so. I mean, yes, they're early. Don't get me wrong, but earlier than they were.
August is early for a September fest,
Right.
basically.
I thought this year it was kind of pushing the envelope because it was the first week of August and they were already saying, let me know what you want next week
Yeah.
for Oktoberfest. So it's pushing it a little bit. But you know, I don't want to, as where I come from, I don't want to lose the summer. I love the summer, you know? But if it gets me to this, well, that's not so bad.
There is one
It
summer.
makes the transition a little
Not so
easier.
bad. Yeah.
There's one summer beer that I will continue to order as long as my distributor has it, because if it's October and nobody else is buying it, I know I'll drink my share of it.
Yeah.
And it's the Victory Summer Love.
Oh, yeah?
Easily my favorite of the summer beers.
Really?
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to have to try that.
I mean, first of all, it's Pennsylvania. I respect, as I've said before,
Of course.
my Pennsylvania Germans. But I think they do a great job. And the Summer Love is that one summer beer that, like, if I order too much I'll throw him under the bus. We did earlier. If I order too much Sam Adams Summer,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden people are done with it and they don't want Sam Summer
You're
anymore,
stuck.
I don't want it. I'm not going to drink it.
You're stuck with it.
I'm going to ask my distributor to take it back. But Victory Summer, I will drink that straight into December if it's still around. It's delicious. And trust me, it doesn't make it.
I haven't
trust
seen
you.
anything from those guys that isn't great yet. I'm a fan of Victory. Huge fan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Downingtown, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Okay, so the way things were going,
Uh-oh.
we liked the first one.
Yep.
We really liked the second one.
We loved.
loved the third one.
Correct.
And the fourth
We
was
liked
good,
the
but
fourth
not
one.
fantastic. Yeah.
Probably was fourth out of the bunch.
So
Number 3 was number 1.
number two was number two.
number 2. Number
then-
1 was number 3, and number
And number
4
four
was
was
number
number
4.
We're in order. Okay. Well, that's good because now it's time for imitations. And sorry, guys, you're not going to get a whole lot of variety. Who better to imitate a German Oktoberfest beer than Pennsylvania Germans? Did you really think I would do anything else?
So is this the my fat dog people?
This is stouts.
Okay.
I've heard.
I haven't had this yet, so I'm very. I like everything I've had from this. I dig what they do.
I've had some people call it stouds. Some people call it stout. I don't know. Stoots. I don't know. However you want to say it. I had a buddy
I
that
always
I
heard
went to high
stouts.
school with. His name was spelled just like that, and we all said stout.
Yep.
Like STOUT. Stout.
Right. Yep.
So this is stouts, and I mentioned earlier about how they have some respect in the Oktoberfest world. It doesn't say Oktoberfest. It says Oktoberfest.
Fest.
They have
Right.
a little bit of, at least, respect to the Germans. It's not one word like all the others.
Right.
And the flag is still very similar. It's straight up and down
Yep.
as opposed to slanted. So as much as they are sort of jumping on board, they're also signifying that, no, this is a Pennsylvania beer.
This is different.
This is not a true German Oktoberfest. But these guys are out of Pennsylvania, Adamstown, Pennsylvania, which is
I smell more hops.
sort of southern central PA. I'm not surprised. With us Americans, that's the way we usually do things.
I smell
very
I
hoppy.
just smell more yeast. I smell bready. To me, it just smells very bready.
I'm looking for a bottling date or a Best Buy date, and I don't actually see anything on here. They usually put them on the 6-packs or the cases instead. It's a little bit more carbonation.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Look at the color.
Totally different color.
It's
yeah.
it's almost a glowing
Yeah, I
orange
noticed it
color.
right away when you had your glass down. It's like, that's
Yeah,
weird.
I hadn't noticed that until just now.
I wasn't even sure if it was like a byproduct of the table
yeah.
behind it. But
Nope.
yeah, it's a really
It's
cool
like a
color.
golden orange glowing color. And it's a little bit better carbonation.
Glowing amber.
Glowing amber. There's actually a new system among craft brewers. There's SRM, and I always forget what it stands for. I'll look it up at some point. But it's a color descriptor on a certain scale, a number. So that instead of me pulling up a color chart on Wikipedia,
Uh-huh.
you apply a number to it. So 5.9 or 7.5. And you're supposed to be able to go to the same website and look it up and say, that's the color that they're talking about.
Yeah, that's kinda
It's
cool.
it's very uncommon amongst craft beer geeks, but it's starting to become more popular because craft brewers are using it a little bit. It's got something to do with shooting light through it and the amount of light that comes out the other side. It's a little more technical,
Yeah.
but for those of us who are into it, it's really cool to be able to go, oh, 5.9, I know what color that is.
I
Or to
got
be
one
able
of
to look
those
it
over
up.
Here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like doing coloration for diamonds.
Yeah, a little bit. Except I don't understand all those scales either.
Please.
What's
It's
the difference?
clear, it's red, it's black, I don't know. It's yellow. Do you really want a yellow diamond? Apparently, some do. This is actually, it is a little hoppy. I do definitely taste the yeast in this too. But it's enjoyable.
Yeah,
It is a session beer. You could do a decent session with this.
I don't so much get hoppy, but I get a balance of that sweetness. That the first four were kind of sweet,
Right.
and this is by no means, I would say, hoppy or bitter, but it's much more balanced than just a sweet malty bomb.
I guess that's what I'm getting at is it's nowhere near as sweet as the others.
Yeah,
but it's enjoyable. It's pleasant.
Mm-hmm. It's quite nice. This is the first time I've had it this year. They were one of my favorites last year. I don't mind playing favorites. It's fine as far as I'm concerned. It's anything better than the latest couple years of Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Damn it, I said it out loud again.
Oh, again! Just letting loose with the zingers.
Now, in that regard, I do
Standard
really...
reference method.
There you go.
Tasha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tasha.
Thank you, Tasha. Apparently one of
thought
our
you-
3 viewers.
I thought you threw something at me.
No, that
We
was-
actually are paying attention to the chat room tonight.
Thank you, Tasha.
setting up for the next one.
So did you just whack that in like 8 seconds?
I completely,
Told you, it's an enjoyable beer.
I completely lost my train of
This
thought.
is delicious.
Yeah. Oh, Sam Adams. See?
There we go.
With respect to Sam Adams, I've met Jim Cook,
Okay.
and he is the nicest brewmaster or owner, whatever you want to call him.
Right.
He's the nicest guy in the beer industry that I've met. He was super friendly. He almost knocked my food out of my hand when he bumped into me accidentally, but super apologetic. Didn't walk anywhere without a beer in his hand.
I'm pretty sure he drinks
Heavily?
or whatever for breakfast.
Yeah. We had a question and answer
God bless
session.
Is that coffee? No, it's the black lager.
It looks like coffee. We had a
Works a
question,
lot better than the coffee, though.
had a question and answer session, and people were throwing all kinds of stuff at him, from how do you do this, how do you do that, why don't you use cans, and he was perfectly friendly the whole time. And then I got a question,
Oh, no.
and I said, what do you do to guys, or how do you say to guys that don't consider you a craft brewer anymore because you make too much and you're nationwide?
Right.
And he says, you're telling me that a privately owned company where I'm in the factory almost every day unless I'm out promoting ourselves, that brews such and such small quantities that is less than 1% of the market share and does a good job is bad? Then I don't care about you. And I was like, you're badass. I love you.
Now hop on your Harley and go.
Literally gave me a sort of revitalization for...
New perspective.
Yeah. I repositioned all my Sam Adams beers in the store. As far as I'm concerned, they are leading the pack with craft brew, although they are no longer number 1. They are now number 2.
Who's number 1?
Who's one now?
In market share, Yingling took over this past year.
Wow.
Wow.
And it's frightening because Yingling is only in 13 or 14 states.
states, yeah.
And Sam Adams is nationwide. What that tells you, or should tell you, is that in those 14 states, we drink a lot.
And
Yeah,
we can't
because-
even get
wow.
it here. It's contraband.
Yeah, it is. Which is okay. I mean, I grew up on Yingling. If you sat down at the bar that I grew up at as a kid and you ordered a Yingling, they wouldn't ask you what size or anything like that. They said, what kind? Because we had Yingling Lager, Yingling Light Lager, and Yingling Black and Tan on tap all the time. 12 taps, 3 of them were Yingling.
Wow.
And there's 8 on a regular basis. Although I had the Oktoberfest last year for the first time, and
Wasn't good.
it wasn't good. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Dick.
Say goodnight, Dick.
I'm kind of savoring the stouts. You guys can get started. Brew number 4.
There we go.
Speaking of victory, also Pennsylvania. These guys are in Downingtown. They call it a fest beer, so they make it very clear that it's Oktoberfest, but not Oktoberfest. Yep. And they describe it, a rich amber lager in the tradition of Oktoberfest. And they're the only, of the 6 tonight, the only ones that describe a store or a story on the side.
Oh, wow.
This is traditionally one of my favorites. I think it's one of the darker styles, so it might not be the truest style,
But I like.
but it's effing delicious.
I like.
And honestly, they can. I mean, they're not calling it an Oktoberfest.
No,
so
they're
they
not.
can do what they want.
Absolutely.
This is nice. This would be another session beer.
Mhm.
No question. It's not overpowering.
That's what I was looking for, the alcohol content.
It was a little. It's a
I'm
little on
guessing
the sweet
it's a
side.
little higher than the norm.
Yeah,
For
I would say
or
it's
like the what do we say 6.5?
6.5.
I'm guessing it's probably a little bit.
5.8 were the 2 that are actually on here.
Okay.
I was trying to pull up Beer Advocate and check, and it's an iPad. I'm not getting anywhere. You might have better luck than I. Or
See what
Tasha. Tasha,
Hey, baby.
can you check the ABV of stouts and Victory for me?
Please.
That'd be sweet.
Not as sweet as your cupcakes, honey, but it would be sweet.
Yes, good call. Actually, I was searching for stouts, and Beer Advocate corrected me. No, really, I want stout, not stout. There we go. Okay, I'm on stouts. Wow, they do a ton more beer than I remember. Ooh, they do a pumpkinlicious. I never saw that before.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Who brings them to you? Is that Doug?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna have to let him know.
Well, it's not him I've got to let know. It's somebody else there. See, they have a Stouds Fest listed on their website, or not on their website, but on Beer Advocate. But it doesn't say Oktoberfest, and the picture's different. Oh, there we go. Sorry, they're new Oktoberfest. The Stouds is only 5%. It's lower than all the others
Really?
we've tasted. Yeah. And it seemed a little bit bigger and boozier, didn't it?
Yep. This is good stuff. I'm liking this.
I click on the link to go to Oktoberfest Martzen beers on Beer Advocate. The first one to pop up, Samuel Adams.
God.
And then it's Spaten, Paulaner, Hockerspor. Oh, and there's Victory. Victory's 5.6%.
Really?
If you do a search by... Oh, I can't search by that unless I'm logged in. There's a ton of them out there. The vast majority of them, very few German breweries make an Oktoberfest unless you're from Oktoberfest. Everybody else does, though, all around the world.
Of the two pretenders,
Of our two pretenders.
I would say number 2 is the best.
I didn't get there yet.
And the answer is ding.
I'll take the stouts, but I'll wait till.
It is kind of a glowing color, too, isn't it?
Tis.
I wonder if it's got something to do with the freshness of it. Because the first 4 being brewed, obviously, in Munich and then shipped here.
Shipped.
Do you think that has an effect on that brightness, that color?
That depends on how it's shipped, too. If
I'm
it's
guessing-
literally by ship,
Pigeons.
it would have... No. Jets. God, I hate that.
Actually, I'm not sure. We should... It's too bad Chris isn't here. Chris would know how stuff gets shipped across the ocean.
The wines are probably not shipped by air.
I don't think these are too, because you're talking about massive containers of stuff. I mean, you're talking about tons of quantity.
The problem with literally putting them on ships is the up and down of the Atlantic.
Yeah, but when you're talking about a boat that size, it really shouldn't have too much of an effect, should it?
That depends on the storm tracks and what storms are out there.
Well, they're not going through the Gulf of Mexico, so they're safe right now.
No, but there
And
were
it's-
actually...
I don't know that it would affect the color of anything, though.
Carbonation,
Color-wise,
maybe.
Yeah, but color-wise, I don't think it would affect anything because the only thing that really affects color is light.
Just so you know, Elliot, in the last 5 weeks, there were actually 3 Atlantic storms that curved up and around. One of them actually was making a beeline to England at one point.
In the middle of the Olympics.
And the Azores also got whacked pretty hard. Small islands off of the coast of Spain, just so you know. With a almost Category 1 hurricane. Okay? So there actually have been some pretty significant storms. And when you have a hurricane out in the mid-Atlantic, you're not dealing with storm surge, but you are dealing with pretty sizable waves.
Tossing.
Like 50 feet waves. That means it's 100 feet from the top down to the trough. So even the big ships go up and then down. It's not good for the wine, and it's probably not so good for the beer.
Probably not, but that's why I prefer American.
Don't have to worry about the shipping.
With the exception of Oktoberfest.
Yep.
That is where I draw the line on my purity.
I totally agree. The last 2 were very nice. The last 2 definitely are working beers. I could go to town with those for hours. But the Oktoberfest's clearly a step ahead. Clearly a step ahead.
And it's sort of a sense of integrity for me. You know, if you're going to call yourself Oktoberfest, be Oktoberfest. Why would you want...
Be real.
Yeah, why would you want to get all excited about drinking Oktoberfest? If on September 16th, the first day of the Oktoberfest, one person comes in and asks for Samuel Adams,
Slap them.
I'm not sure I'm allowed to slap them, but I am allowed to ridicule them heavily.
I know where I'll be September 16th.
Just
I
watching.
I think I now know too.
Just gonna go hang out and watch.
There'll be a peanut gallery.
And don't get me wrong.
ahead.
I
What are you gonna
love
order?
I love these types of Oktoberfests. Brooklyn
It'll be like Olympic judging.
Brooklyn does a
They were
great one.
Awesome last year.
Yeah, Brooklyn's
Brooklyn
is
was
delicious.
Awesome last year.
Clipper City out of Maryland does a really tasty one that they don't call it Oktoberfest. I think they call it Martzen.
Yes.
Actually, they do a Martzen and they do a Prost as well in bigger bottles.
I don't know that.
That's sort of their. I don't know. Want to call it an Imperial Oktoberfest, but it's their big boy. There's a lot of serious Oktoberfests out there, but I'm going to draw the line at purity.
I'm going to suggest that we have another similar show close to the beginning of Oktoberfest.
For pumpkin beers?
Yes, we can do pumpkin beers.
Actually, I had a few people, some of my customers, clients, whatever you'd like to call them,
Customers.
suggest that we do an official pumpkin beer tasting, because we do events all the time over at the Mustard Seed Cafe.
Okay.
And there are, I think we have 8 pumpkin beers in the store right now, and there's 3 or 4 that haven't been released yet. So we've brought this up before. Might be a good opportunity to do a remote,
Could be.
because we should really tie Chris to a chair and make him drink 12 different pumpkin beers.
He would love that.
I think he would.
He would love
And
that.
since he can't chime in right now, let's just assume that that's the truth.
Do we
If
have
you're
an
out
idea?
there,
Do
if
we-
you're out there and you disagree, speak up.
Let us know, because I'm in the chat room.
do we have an idea what we're doing next week?
No,
Excellent.
sorry.
Next week, folks, will be a surprise.
No, we'll be here. We'll have fun. We'll probably drink something.
Those are the only guarantees.
The
we
only
really have.
the only thing that we're not sure about is whether or not Chris is going to be well enough to rejoin us or not. We know that he'll have to be tied down next week.
Oh, either way,
Yeah.
healthy or not, he needs to be tied down. Thank you, folks, for chiming in. We're joined, I'll fill in here, we're joined with producer Dave. Thanks for waving. Fantastic job tonight. Everything's right on the money. We got bartender extraordinaire Brian from Black Eyed Sally's, which Thursday night, 8 p.m.
Yes.
Stein hoisting.
Steinhoisting. I wish I could be there. And I'm your fill-in guest host.
Host.
I'm your host.
Yeah, baby.
Elliot from Sonoma Wines and Spirits. If you need some Oktoberfest and you want to get ridiculed for ordering the wrong thing, come see me.
On September 16th, there will be Olympic judging by Brian Lee and Dave Moore.
Who takes the hardest slap?
That was 9.9 on that one, Elliot.
Oh,
I told
well
you,
done.
no
you
slapping,
switched hands.
just ridicule. I'll judge by how much I make them cry.
You've been listening to On the Horn. Tune in next week. We're going to have Open for Business, Black Eyed and Blues, yes, News Talk Tonight, and the fun show, Wt&F. See you next week, folks.